What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Wangzilla channel. My name is Will, and today I'm going to do a little bit with the Exploder, my second gen 2000 Ford Explorer XLT, and really trying to just add the front license plate mount here. I don't have a mount here. I came from Tennessee, wasn't a requirement. I'm here in Texas now, and I have the car plated and everything like that, but I do not have the front license plate mount. This is what the mount looks like. Picked it up from, I believe, the Amazon. It is the OEM front license plate mount. It mounts up pretty simply, you would think, and it just kind of has a little lip here. The lip goes up underneath this part of the bumper, and then this locks into place, and then you line it up with the holes here in your front, like so, and it almost can just sit there just like that, and you can kind of see the holes here. Let me get some extra lighting here, but you can see these holes here. You think that would be a screw or something simple, but no, it is actually going to be some plastic rivets, these. And unfortunately, with plastic rivets, you cannot install these with a standard rivet gun that uses metal rivets. It has its own fancy plastic rivet gun, which is relatively expensive for something that you may only use this one time and never again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install these rivets, hopefully with some pliers like these, and maybe a wrench to use as a wedge piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put the rivet in. Of course, this is kind of falling off, but for demonstration, we'll put the rivet in. Then I'm going to put the wrench over top, and then I'm going to use the pliers, and I'm going to try to pull the centerpiece out without the rivet gun, and I'm going to see if I can just wedge it out slowly without snapping it off until it hits the end point, and then I can then shear it off, and then it will actually hold the rivet in place. If I can do it this way, I can save myself some money and not need a plastic rivet gun. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can grab maybe a smaller wrench than this. This looks like an 11, maybe a 10 would fit a little bit better. Just something I can pry from. And I'm gonna set the camera in position so we can see if I can get that to work. And if so, that'll be 1, 2, 3, and we'll have the front plate mount installed cheaply and hopefully just as effectively as the I guess the appropriate official method. All right, I have the camera up on a mount here just so I can get a better angle on what I'm working on. You can see what I'm doing here, and we have the license plate mount right here, and I'm going ahead and I'll put this back on the bumper, and I'm going to tape it into position just so I can work with the rivets without worrying about the mount falling off. And as mentioned before, you have this lip here, and that's going to tuck around the inside here and actually kind of almost lock it in place. Make sure you do hook that, or you will not be able to install this. And if it locks in properly, then you should have the holes here exposed, and it should not be able to pull it away from the bumper. I have some painter's tape here just temporarily to hold this onto the bumper so it can keep it centered on these rivet holes. And then you have your plastic rivets. These are 1/4 inch. I'll have a link for all this stuff in the description. And then I'm going to take the rivet, and I'll start on this side, and of course you're going to push it through, and it should sit in there. Then you're going to get pliers and a wrench. Here's a 10mm, and you kind of just get it on there, and we'll see if I can kind of wedge it off of the wrench here. And you want it to kind of lock in, almost like if you were to use a gun. See if I can just pull it. And of course, if those don't work and you need a little bit more power, you can get some big old pliers like this. It feels like it's kind of locked in there, so we'll go ahead and add the other one and see if I can get that one into place. Same deal. You want to hold it so the rivet doesn't come out of the bumper while you're yanking on the center section. And just a quick final check. And we'll remove the tape. This one feels a little bit looser than this one. This one feels real good. This one I'm not super happy with. So. There we go. And see if I can get the second one off here. And you kind of just want to torque it off, kind of pry it off with the wrench here until it shears off. Oops, just broke the end of that one off. It's a little bit tricky, but you should be able to manage. There we go. And as you can see, license plate is on there. It's not moving around. And it fits pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the license plate and we'll see if I can get that mounted on to the bracket and see how she holds up. But it'll have some wiggle in here because they are rivets and they're plastic, but you should be able to pull on it and not just have these pop out. Now that we have the bracket here in place, go ahead and take my license plate and it scoops up underneath these lips here, which kind of locks it into place. And really you only have two then mounts for your screws, which is going to be here and here. And yeah, I have a kit, link that in the description as well, for license plate. It comes with like a silicone wrap thing, which I won't be able to use with this, but I still have some leftover parts, which are nice. It gives you kind of a cleaner look and hides your screw heads, like this one right here. Just make sure you have the right screw for the for holes. Cool thing about this is I can actually take this, feed it through here, screw it in, and once this is mounted, it has a little cap here that covers up the screw and gives it a cleaner look. I usually run these on all my plates with the silicone on it, but has like almost a silicone license plate, keeps it from vibrating, especially on the back where you don't have a bracket like this to kind of wrap everything in. And then it's gonna have to go ahead and screw this in. And like I said, just make sure you have the right size screw, just big enough that it threads in, but not so big that you're just completely destroying the plastic, because this is just a plastic frame mount bracket deal. And so yeah, you don't want to hulk through with some huge screw. And my second one, same deal. Kind of make sure the screw is centered when you get it tight on this piece. If you do run with these, of course, these are just optional. And just make sure it's nice and centered on here, so when you put the cap on, it gives you a nice clean finishing look like that. And then you got these little caps, and they just snap, make sure it's centered. You snap it on there on both sides, and it just hides that ugly screw head and gives you this nice clean look. And it should be on here pretty good. It's going to wobble around a little bit because they are just 2 plastic rivets, and then the lock thing on the bottom that locks it in place. And yeah, that's really it. Pretty simple. Looks harder than it is, and we're able to save some money by not having to get that plastic rivet gun that most likely, unless you really deal with plastic rivets a lot, you are not going to need. I'll link the plastic rivet gun in the description just in case you do want to go that method. But as you can see here, I was able to install this just using a pair of pliers and just a little bit of strength, and just pull it out. As long as you have the rivet held in place with a wrench or anything that can just kind of keep it pretty much locked in against the bumper. Of course, if you just grab it and yank on it with pliers without holding it in place, you'll just pull the whole rivet out, and that won't work. So yeah, really easy mod. I guess this is if you want to stay legal mod, and super easy to remove. I do plan on plastic dipping this entire car in the semi near future, so I will of course need to pull this off, and to do that, make sure you have some extra rivets, and you can just punch those plastic rivets out and then take the whole mount off, and then just reinstall it when you need to. So yeah, as always, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the videos. Feel free to subscribe, like, share, comment, and I have a ton more content coming for all of my vehicles, gaming, tech, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, thanks a lot. Peace.